22 hours ago, spectrographic arrays across 3 continents simultaneously detected active venting from 3I Atlas. Not the metallic particle beam of the anti-tail. Not the controlled atmospheric modifications we've been monitoring. This is something different, something biological. Atlas is spraying material directly into space. Water, carbon-based organics, amino acid precursors, lipid-like structures. The ejection rate is 200 kilograms per second. The spray extends 8,400 kilometers from the surface in a structured pattern. Not random outgassing like a comet, not uniform dispersal, structured, organized into 12 distinct jets emerging from the 12 vertex domes, each jet aimed at specific angle. Together they form pattern around Atlas, like corona, like deliberate distribution. And the chemistry of what's being sprayed doesn't match what's inside Atlas's atmosphere. It's different. More concentrated, more complex, as if prepared separately, formulated specifically for release. That's not passive venting, that's deliberate spraying. And the question of why becomes the most important question humanity has ever asked. Water and organics spraying from natural comets is common. We expect that. Comets are rich in volatiles, but what we see here violates everything cometary. Natural cometary jets emerge from sunward-facing surface as sunlight heats volatiles. They're chaotic, uncontrolled, dissipate quickly. Atlas's 12 jets emerge from vertex domes on all sides simultaneously, not responding to solar heating, not following sublimation physics. Each jet has specific geometry maintained precisely over 22 hours. And the organics? The amino acid precursors we're detecting don't form naturally in space. They require specific synthesis conditions, temperature control, pressure management, chemical catalysts. These molecules were manufactured, then sprayed into our space. Before I show you the spectroscopic data from 12 independent observatories cataloging every molecule detected in this spray, before I explain why the chemical complexity requires biological or technological synthesis and rules out natural processes completely, before I reveal what the spatial distribution pattern of these jets tells us about Atlas's purpose and intent at this moment, I need you to understand what spraying organics means for planetary biology. Earth's biosphere began with chemistry, simple molecules combining into complex ones. The first amino acids, the first lipid membranes, the first self-replicating molecules. If an intelligence wanted to seed a planet with building blocks of life, this is exactly what it would look like. In the comments below, tell me this. When spacecraft sprays complex organic molecules, including amino acid precursors and lipid structures into space at 200 kilograms per second from precisely controlled jets, what's the simpler explanation? Coincidental release of naturally occurring compounds through random outgassing, or deliberate dispersal of synthesized biological precursors for purpose we are only beginning to understand? Because one requires impossible chemistry from natural processes, and the other requires accepting that Atlas is doing something to our environment right now, actively, with purpose. Let me start with the detection timeline. February 9, 2026, 1433 UTC. Multiple observatories detected spectral features in ultraviolet and infrared that indicated molecular cloud forming around Atlas. Initial assumption was outgassing event, but within 2 hours, molecular identification produced results that stopped every researcher who saw them. Detected at confirmed concentrations above noise floor, water, H2O, 67% by mass of ejected material. Expected for any volatile rich body. This is baseline, But then the organics. Glycine precursors at concentrations of 340 parts per million. Glycine is simplest amino acid. On Earth, it's fundamental building block of proteins. Its precursors don't occur naturally in space at these concentrations. You can make traces through ultraviolet irradiation of simple ices in laboratory, but 340 parts per million in active jet? That's industrial scale synthesis. Alanine precursors at 180 parts per million. Second simplest amino acid. Same synthesis problem. Same impossible concentration. Phospholipid-like structures at 45 parts per million. These are molecules that form cell membranes. On Earth, they're produced by living organisms. In space, they don't form spontaneously. They require temperatures, pressures, and catalysts found only in specific environments. Finding them at 45 parts per million in active spray from spacecraft means they were made intentionally. Nucleobase analogs at 12 parts per million. Bases similar to adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. The components of DNA and RNA, similar but not identical. Atlas Biology's version of genetic building blocks, being sprayed into space at measurable concentrations. Ribose analogs at 28 parts per million, the sugar backbone of RNA, Atlas equivalent, also manufactured, also sprayed. Now let me address what 12 jets tell us. 6 primary vertex domes at octahedral vertices. 6 secondary domes at edge midpoints. Each one is spraying, not randomly. We tracked each jet separately. They're aimed at specific angles relative to Earth's position. Not uniform corona, asymmetric, angled, directed toward Earth's orbital plane, not at Earth directly, at Earth's orbital path. The material Atlas is spraying will intersect Earth's orbital path in approximately 11 days. Earth crosses that spray zone in 11 days. Let me walk you through what the spray geometry reveals about intent. 3 possibilities emerge from directional analysis. First possibility, contamination. Atlas is releasing biological or prebiotic material that will reach Earth's atmosphere. Panspermia event, directed panspermia. Fred Hoyle and Chandra Wickramasinghe proposed that life on Earth arrived from space. Maybe that's what Atlas is doing, delivering biological precursors to initiate or augment Earth's chemistry. But directed panspermia, for what purpose? To help Earth? To modify Earth's biosphere? To seed life forms compatible with Atlas biology? The phospholipid structures and nucleobase analogs are similar but not identical to Earth's. If they interact with Earth biology, effects are unpredictable, could be benign, could be catastrophic, could be transformative. Second possibility, atmospheric sampling collection mechanism. Atlas sprays material that interacts with Earth's magnetosphere and atmospheric molecules. Products of that interaction return spectral signatures Atlas can analyze remotely. Complex organics serve as probe chemicals. Reaction products reveal Earth's atmospheric chemistry in detail beyond passive observation. This is active analytical chemistry at planetary scale. Third possibility, communication. The spray pattern isn't random, it's geometric. 12 jets in specific configuration producing structured distribution. If decoded, distribution pattern might carry information. 3-dimensional signal, biological signal using chemistry rather than radio waves. Message encoded in molecular distribution. Now let me address the rate and duration. 200 kilograms per second is substantial, but not catastrophic at Atlas's scale. Over 22 hours already, that's 15,840 tons released. At current rate, Atlas could sustain this for years before mass loss becomes significant relative to its 4.7 million ton total. This isn't emergency vent. This isn't system failure. This is sustained, controlled, long-duration operation. The rate is also precisely controlled. Measurements over 22 hours show 200 plus or minus 3 kilograms per second. That's 1.5% variation. Better than most industrial manufacturing control systems. Natural outgassing varies by orders of magnitude with temperature and surface conditions. This 1.5% precision requires active flow control. Valves, sensors, regulation systems. This is engineered process. Let me walk you through the water isotope analysis. We spent considerable time on Atlas's heavy water enrichment D/H ratio of 380 parts per million versus Earth's 150 parts per million. The water being sprayed shows D/H ratio of 162 parts per million, almost exactly Earth's ratio, not Atlas's internal water chemistry, Earth's. This is water formulated to match Earth's chemistry, not Atlas's natural water, Earth's water. Either Atlas synthesized water matching Earth's isotopic signature specifically, or Atlas has separate water reservoir with Earth-like chemistry prepared for release here. Why would Atlas spray water matching Earth's chemistry? Either they knew Earth's water chemistry before arriving and prepared matching material, or they analyzed Earth's water during 3 months in orbit and reformulated their spray water to match. Either way, this is deliberate, targeted, specific to Earth, not generic spray for any planet they might visit, customized for us. Now, let me address what happens to these molecules in space. At 200 kilograms per second, emerging at temperatures around 200 Kelvin and dispersing into near vacuum, molecules will spread. Photodissociation from solar UV will break down some fraction over days to weeks. But molecules in shadow zones of Atlas's corona are protected. Atlas is actually positioned such that spray region has partial shielding from solar UV during parts of orbit. Some fraction will be swept by solar wind away from Earth. Some will follow orbital mechanics toward Earth's orbital path. The 11-day calculation to intersection with Earth's orbital path is conservative. Upper atmosphere interaction begins before that, as Earth's magnetosphere extends far beyond atmosphere. Let me walk you through what happens at Earth's atmosphere. Organic molecules hitting Earth's upper atmosphere at orbital velocities burn up. High-velocity entry converts molecules to atoms and ions. The specific organics Atlas is spraying would not survive atmospheric entry intact. But wait, the molecules don't need to survive entry intact to have effect. Ablation products, simpler molecules formed when complex ones break apart, are still chemically active. Glycine precursors breaking apart in mesosphere produce simpler carbon-nitrogen compounds that rain down into lower atmosphere and eventually surface. Effect is cumulative, slow, difficult to detect. Perhaps deliberate in its subtlety. Alternatively, if any material arrives below orbital velocity through gradual deceleration in upper atmosphere, molecular survival improves. Certain entry angles allow deceleration before ablation. Atlas might have calculated optimal spray velocity for molecular survival during atmospheric passage. Lower ejection velocity means slower intersection arrival but higher molecular survival rate. Now, let me address what institutions are doing. Planetary Protection Office at NASA exists specifically for this scenario. Well, not this exact scenario, but biological material from space potentially affecting Earth's biosphere. They have protocols for spacecraft returning from other bodies. But those assume human spacecraft with known biology. Atlas is unknown biology, unknown chemistry, unknown intent. NASA issued internal advisory, organic material detected in spray from 3I Atlas, assessment ongoing. No public statement, no emergency alert. No guidance to public about implications of alien organic chemistry being dispersed in near-Earth space. Just assessment ongoing. ESA contacted European Center for Disease Prevention and Control. ECDC has no framework for extraterrestrial biological contamination. Conversation reportedly produced confusion and no actionable guidance. WHO convened emergency virtual meeting. First time in organization's history discussing extraterrestrial biological material. Outcome: insufficient data to determine health implications. Continued monitoring recommended. Translation: we have no idea what to do. 22 hours of spraying at 200 kilograms per second, producing 15,840 tons of organic material in near-Earth space. An official response is to monitor. This is institutional failure in real time. Let me walk you through biological risk assessment. The molecules we detect are precursors, not assembled life, not viruses, not bacteria, building blocks that could potentially interact with Earth chemistry. Risk spectrum: minimal risk. Molecules are too chemically different from Earth biology to interact meaningfully. Atlas's amino acid precursors, being slightly different from Earth's, fail to integrate with Earth proteins. They're chemically foreign. Ignored or broken down by Earth's biochemical systems. No effect. Moderate risk. Some molecules interact with Earth chemistry, producing novel compounds. Not life, not infectious, but chemically reactive, catalyzing unexpected reactions in atmosphere or surface chemistry. Changes too slow to detect immediately. Possible effects on timescales of years. Significant risk. Nucleobase analogs interact with Earth's genetic material, not infection, but background chemical modification. Mutagenic if they penetrate cells and interact with DNA replication, rate too low for immediate harm, but cumulative effect over years or decades possible. Severe risk. Some molecules self-assemble using Earth's environment. Phospholipid-like structures form membranes. Nucleobase analogs form complementary strands. Ribose analogs form backbones. Combination creates self-replicating chemical system. Not life by our definition, but something new, something alien, something that wasn't here before and now grows. We don't know which scenario applies. We have chemistry. We don't have interaction data. We don't have time to get interaction data. 11 days until Earth encounters spray zone. Now, let me make predictions. First, within 24 hours, atmospheric entry of initial spray material begins. High-velocity molecules hitting upper atmosphere. Spectroscopic signatures detectable from ground. We'll see chemical changes in mesosphere if flux is sufficient. Second, within 72 hours, rate of spraying tells us whether this is short-duration event or sustained operation. If Atlas increases rate, it's primary mission. If Atlas decreases, it's supplementary operation. If constant, it's steady-state process planned for long duration. Third, within 1 week, detection of molecular fragments from spray material in stratosphere using high-altitude balloon or aircraft sampling. First, physical samples of Atlas origin material in Earth's atmosphere. Fourth, within 11 days, Earth's orbital path intersects main spray zone. Maximum exposure. All high-altitude observation systems on maximum sensitivity. If any material survives to lower atmosphere, detection probability peaks. Fifth, if this is panspermia event, effects won't be visible on short timescales, months to years before any chemistry change detectable. We're planting seeds we won't see germinate for years, if we see them at all. 22 hours ago, Atlas began spraying 12 jets from 12 vertex domes, 200 kilograms per second. Precision controlled to 1.5% variation. Chemistry impossible for natural processes. Glycine precursors at 340 parts per million. Alanine precursors at 180 parts per million. Phospholipid structures at 45 parts per million. Nucleobase analogs at 12 parts per million. Ribose analogs at 28 parts per million. Water isotopes matching Earth's chemistry specifically, not Atlas's own internal water. 15,840 tons released in 22 hours. 11 days until Earth intersects spray zone. NASA monitoring. ESA confused. WHO convened. No public warning. No actionable guidance. No framework for alien organic contamination of near-Earth space. Demand immediate public disclosure of biological risk assessment. Demand independent analysis by international scientific consortium. Demand transparency about what 11-day spray zone intersection means for Earth's atmosphere and biosphere. Atlas is spraying our space with alien chemistry, customized chemistry, water matching our isotopes, organics synthesized with purpose aimed at our orbital path, for 11 more days before we intersect it. An official response is to monitor. We need more than monitoring. We need to understand what's being sprayed, why it matches Earth's chemistry so precisely, and what happens when we fly through it. Stay rational, stay vigilant. And remember that when something sprays your atmosphere with custom-formulated organic chemistry, it either wants to help you or change you. And the difference between those two things might be the most important question ever asked. We have 11 days to start finding the answer.